My name is Domanika. I'm the eldest of five. I'm Fu-Quan's elder sister. He's like my Irish twin. He's the only diaper I haven't changed. But I currently stay in Central Virginia. That's my twin right there. I don't know what more to say.
Yeah.
I'm a little shy.
On and on. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes, I'm hearing you fine.
Okay. Yes, so we have Miss Domanika McGee, the oldest of Fu-Quan's sisters. So Fu-Quan has 4 sisters, so that was 5 of you in the household that grew up with his mother. But I understand that you also have siblings on your father's side as well.
That's right. Three more from my father.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're the oldest of all of them, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So the oldest sibling sometimes takes a lot of the hits, and it's a lot of responsibility. But from what
I've seen a lot.
Yes, you have, and from what Fu-Quan shares with me, you've been an extraordinary part of his growth into becoming a man, and we just want to be able to build with you today. Because hearing from relatives, hearing from family is very, very important. And Fu-Quan is very much loved by the community that he's grown up with, both outside but also inside of the prison walls where he spent majority of his life, unfortunately. But to hear about, his humble beginnings and, little Ricky and just you chasing after him, trying to keep him out of trouble.
Little Ricky.
Yes.
He cringes at that now.
So you said
he cringes at little Ricky. Yeah, I live in Central Virginia. I moved down here about 6 years ago. But I'm born and raised in Boston. And we grew up, well, first of all, this is probably a little known fact, is that my brother was actually born in Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, yes. So I was born, and bam, my parents didn't waste no time. They had him. He's, like I said, my Irish twin. We was living in I was born in Boston, and next thing you know, we was out in Tulsa, and he was born out there in '78. And we grew up. We was out there maybe about a year or two, I guess, as little siblings. We were learning to walk out there, talk out there, and then we got to Boston, and we lived in the bricks in Franklin Hill Projects. We was living at 5 Standard Road. Oh yeah, and it was just me, him, and little Nicky at first, the 3 of us for a while. And so, yeah, that was like the core family, with my mom and dad together, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of adventures growing up.
Yeah, no, he said you guys moved around a lot. From Franklin Field, it felt like you guys were moving like every other year. I know your parents were really young at the time, trying to figure it out, with young children as well. So it couldn't have been easy, but you really stepped in as the sister. In the mid 80s, I'd say around maybe like 83, 84, maybe 84, 85 that's when Dad had left the family. And that's when crack came out and was real prevalent in the city. And, so growing up, like when he left, I had no choice but to become an adult, like right there. I didn't really have a childhood because I didn't have a choice. I had to make sure that the rest of the family was okay. And I had to be my mom's helper, you know what I'm saying? So, I had to grow up like damn. And being that, I had to learn a lot. And I'm glad I was one to always pay attention. I was one of those children that would like be quiet and listen. Just to listen to the adults, I always just wanted to just listen and absorb my surroundings and what was being said and taught. Not just in the home, but outside the home. There was just certain individuals and, adults that would, I get some jewels from. But I needed those jewels because, and I needed them quick because I was
had no choice, you know. So I had to go up quick.
How old
And
were you when your father
I
left?
was about 6 years old. Fu-Quan was 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about 6. It was around 85, 86, 84, 85. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to cook quick for everybody to learn how to cook, change diapers, make bottles, give baths, all of it, because my mom was doing it by herself. And so it was just us. That was our unit, you know, for a while, and then more came a little later.
Yes.
Couple more, but yeah, that was the catalyst. So that when we moved a lot, like you said, so my mom would have to tell me how to get on the bus. You know, me and him, we on the buses, by ourselves from Mattapan, moving from Mattapan to Dorchester, learning how to get on the 15, the 45, and switching over, sticking together, Yeah, we moved a lot. We used to live in Mattapan. We used to live in Roxbury, of course. And it seemed like no matter where we lived, we always were able to attract the neighborhood children. They would just flock to us. They would always come and chill at our house. We had Nintendo.
Yes.
We knew it. It just seemed like we didn't have much, but it just seemed that we just had something where they just flocked to us, just gravitated to us somehow.
Yeah.
We were all on the same boat, but we knew how to entertain, we just
Yeah,
can't explain it.
You mentioned how, you guys did move around a lot, but you always had kids flocking around y'all. You were pretty popular.
Oh yeah.
At your, around your age group, and he was pretty popular because of you, and vice versa. So you guys.
Oh, he had charisma even back then. He was quite a jokester, and that was actually one of his professions he wanted to do that later on in life, was become a stand-up. That was one of his. That and a cab driver.
A stand-up comedian.
Stand up and a cab driver, because he thought all the money, was his route. You know what I'm saying? The cab driver.
Oh, that's funny.
But
that's
yeah, for sure. But we always was able to keep light no matter what was going on around us. We was always managed to keep light. We went through some times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we went through some time when we went without, and we had to make do with what we had and do it with a smile on our face. You know what I'm saying? So that created a lot of humility and a lot in our family, for what we had to come up with and what we went through. We went through a whole lot. There's been a lot that our family's gone through, and it made us strong. So,
absolutely.
And that started us as children.
Yeah, real young. He mentioned, was it when you guys lived in Dorchester that your house burnt up?
Oh yeah.
And you guys making do with what you had and playing in the.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, yeah. We were living on Wildwood Street back then, and Mom was doing her thing. She was hustling. She was working. And, doing side jobs to provide for us. And so a lot of the times I was home taking care of the children. By then we had 4 of us. There's 4 of us. And it was me, Fu-Quan, Nikki, and Tiffany. And we were living off Wildwood. And we didn't have heat, so we had a space heater. That was in my mom's room that we used to just huddle up for, with
and watch TV in her room while she was at work. So she was playing around putting matchsticks in the heater and blowing out the fire,
Yep.
you know. And throwing away these matchsticks, and I'm like, cut it out. And so Nicky was watching him. So after he was done bored doing that, you know, he went on doing something else. And then Nicky saw him and tried to do it. And the match didn't go out. She threw it on the bed, scared. She was like maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 years old. She didn't know what she was doing. And it lit the bed on fire. And Tiffany was Tiffany was like 2 years old. She was on the bed sleeping. And I'm like, oh my goodness, the bed caught on fire. I had to go into action mode, try to get water to get the fire out, telling my brother to get Tiffany off the bed before she burned. Yeah, that was scary, but only because Tiffany was like, you know, he saw for it. We kind of both like froze for a second, and then got right back, got into action and got everyone out, and then alerted the neighbors upstairs. Yeah, that was scary growing up, but we made it through.
Yeah.
So,
that's very scary at a young age, and you were home watching the kids at the time, so you're responsible.
Yeah, I was like 11. Yeah.
That's real
Yep.
scary. So
but like I didn't even think about it. We just went right boom.
You guys reacted
boom into
quickly.
action. Yeah.
Saved Tiffany's life, literally.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, he told me he would get into some trouble playing with things that he probably shouldn't have been playing with. The heater. Ooh, I couldn't catch my daughter doing
He was little. He didn't know. He had, you know, it was harmless. You know what I mean?
I know.
But, yeah, he felt bad afterwards and was just always conscious. I just made him conscious of, like, you know, they're looking up to me. You know what I'm saying? I got to watch what I do because my sisters are looking up to me. That was just, you know, a lesson learned, you know. Thank God we made it through. No scratches. Yes. Everybody made it out okay.
God bless. Yes. No, he mentioned that you guys still had to live in that house, and sometimes y'all would be playing in the burnt part of the house.
Yeah, a certain part of it. There was like half of the house was burnt and the other half wasn't, but it was still like soot and like the smell. I can still remember the smell. My toys never smelled the same. And we just got new stuff. Yeah. We ended up moving with in-laws and had to start from scratch for real.
Yeah.
That's when we was like living there. Yeah, that's when we were living like near Mattapan. Had to learn because we were going to their middle school out there. I was going to the Rogers. I forget the school he was going to. But we had transferred schools, and we had to learn how to get from the 28 to the 15 and the 45 after that fire. Learned how to travel the subway to keep ourselves. Once we learned that, we used to just hop on the subway and take rides we're not supposed to on the train back in them days, baby. Yeah. But yeah, we always made the most of it, you know.
Definitely. So at that time, it was your mother and the 4 of you guys, yourself, Fu-Quan, Nicky, and Tiffany. And Antoinette came later. Were you guys at Fenway when Antoinette came, or when?
We were living in the Fenway when Antoinette came. Okay. Yeah, I was 15. He was 14. And Antoinette was born.
Okay.
Yeah, she was supposed to be a boy, but she came around a girl.
Yeah.
So her name was supposed to be Antoine. and so we found out, oh, it's a girl. They named Antoinette. So that's the baby.
Yeah. He said that him and Antoinette were really, really tight. That's his boo. And, you know, even though she wasn't a boy, he kind of just took her up under his wing as though that was his little brother. But, yeah, tell us about Fenway, because that was the last place that Fu-Quan lived with you all before this incident happened. I know there's a lot of stories of him acting. Your father mentioned that a little bit in his interview. Guys Like Us, that movie that he created. So he's always been very imaginative, always been very, you know, inquisitive and creative. But tell me about growing up in the Fenway. There wasn't a lot of Black folks out there at that time.
Yeah, what happened was that my brother was going to the Dearborn Middle School, and we was living off Dudley Street, and my mother just wanted to move us into a different area. She wanted to get us out of hood, basically. And so she moved us into the Fenway. We was one of the first black families really to live in the area. And yeah, that's where we got to kind of expand our horizon a little bit. And yeah, we had a ball there. He would, like, what we would do is go up and take walks up to the Prudential Center and downtown and just explore, see what that life was like. We had a neighbor of ours that lived upstairs, and he did movies. And him and my brother and another neighbor's daughter of ours, they had hooked up somehow and started filming movies with, they invited us neighborhood children to join. So one of them was called, like you said, Guys Like Us. Had him like fake falling off a building and doing all kind of karate stunts and all. Had us all at like children in the neighborhood was in it. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah, we made that movie, and he played a lot of basketball there, and that was his thing, basketball. And there was a court nearby, so that used to be our little spot. He couldn't stand it when we came by, though. If he didn't want nobody hollering at his mama or his sisters.
Yes, and from
he was the man. He was the man of the house for sure.
Yeah, he was definitely the man of the house. So he said, when your mother would come by, he'd be so annoyed because all the kids are like, "Damn, who's that?" Like, she looked good. So
yeah,
he was tired of like y'all coming around all the time.
Yeah, Ma definitely was looking good for her age. Ma, she wasn't no slouch. And yeah, so like if me and my sisters, like he was the man of the house from where's the movie I want to see it? We gotta find where Scott is. Scott has the Guys Like Us. My mom actually might still have that movie. It was hilarious. It was the neighborhood children like doing a spy movie. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a good experience for us. Even my little sisters, they were in it, like as extras.
Yeah. Tiffany had a scene in it. We're trying to find it. I know Emerson Shea might have it, but your mother doesn't. We asked her, and she doesn't have it, unfortunately. But we're gonna find it.
They might have. Yes. It's gonna be revealed.
We have to, just to bring it all together, because even Fu-Quan's life story sounds like a movie. Like, he's gone through a lot of stuff. He's experienced a lot. There's a lot of things that people don't know about him because he's very stoic. He's very serious about what he does. But like you said, he's a comedian. He's very funny. He's amazing at ball. He still is. He just doesn't put his energy into it, but he used to rap, right?
Yeah, he sure did. One of his first raps, I was his first, he tried it on me first. He tried it on me first. He said, "Sis, I want you to hear something." This is like real when he was in the beginning. It's like everywhere, everywhere, yeah. But he had graduated. I gave him my input, and he had just graduated from there, became his own MC. And I was like, well, I think he even had a contract signed at some point with the group before he got behind. Yeah, I forget the name of the group, but I believe he was signed. You should ask him about that. I think he's I forget the name of the group, but he was signed at some point before they took him.
Yeah, he said with Lance, him and Lance were rapping, and he was more about the ball, but he was really good. And what he says today is that his skills rapping and freestyling is what makes him such a good orator when he's public speaking. Like, he's really quick with what he's going to say and how to say it. So a lot of the skills that he is appreciated for today as Fu-Quan were hobbies that Rickey was indulging in. So it's really beautiful to see the evolution of Rickey to Fu-Quan. And sorry about that. So, you know, I know that you hear everyone raving about Fu-Quan, and it must be weird because this is your brother, this is little Rickey. Like, how does that fall on you?
I just think that it's just an awesome thing to see. We've been dealing with him being behind for so long, and we knew he had love, but it's really good to see how much love he really has and how many lives he's actually impacted. You know, we just know him as you know, we don't even think of him as low Rickey. Like I said, we see him as cool. And I just, you know, I'm just in awe of who he's become, you know, from where we've been. You know, it's truly a blessing. And, you know, just the transformation, like this, you know, once he had his mind made up, he had it made up, and he hasn't looked back. And he's actually taught me a lot, too, you know. Yeah, it's just awesome to see how many lives he's touched. It's, you know, encouraging to know that he has a lot of supporters. You know, it's just a blessing to the family. Like, I'm loving it, you know, and I know he is too, and we appreciate all the love and support we've been getting from everyone. You know, it's been a long road, but the light is at the end of the tunnel, you know. But yeah, it's a blessing to see, you know. It really is. I'm still in awe. Oh, that's my daughter there. Hey, boo-boo.
Yes. You know, he gets so much love. So what people don't know is what the family goes through. You know, seeing your brother, you know, he's going through a lot, but a lot of people don't see what the family goes through. And for you to be the big sister, you're protecting your brother. You've protected him through a lot of things. You've helped him grow, become a man, teaching him about hygiene, talking to girls, like all the little stuff that he values so much today. But people don't understand your pain and just how proud you are of him, but also the obstacles that you all have gone through. Can you, if you feel comfortable, to whatever extent you do feel like sharing, what this journey's been like for you, particularly in raising your daughter and having her have a relationship with her uncle behind bars? Like, what has your experience been like since the day this happened to today?
Man, like, we just knew that he was coming home. You know what I'm saying? Not to get into it, but we just knew that I just knew that he was coming home. So when that didn't happen, I actually fainted at my job. You know, I didn't know how to internalize that at first. And so I knew, I mean, it was just, I was at a loss for words. I was devastated. And it took a hit on the family because, like I said, he was the man of the house, you know, up and down. And it was just a big blow to all of us. I mean, the family has never recovered from him not being home and not being free. There's just always been a mission. We know he's dead. He hasn't never been gone. But just his presence, just his, you know, my daughter, I was pregnant with my daughter. She's never seen him out. You know, I've taken her up there to see her uncle. You know, we go up there, and you know, she knows him from, you know, he's behind. She hasn't seen him out yet. You know, so that just takes a toll, as in, like, not, you know, we always kept our head up and, you know, just tried to make good for the situation, but it's nothing like him being home, especially for, you know, for this, that he wasn't even, you know what I mean, just for no reason. But he's been blessed with a strong mind. And, you know, that actually he actually rubs that off on me a lot because only him in his situation and him to have the mentality that he does is truly magnificent. And, you know, it has taken a toll, but we remain strong and we're warriors, you know, and just take it day by day. And, you know, only he can fill that void that a family feels. You're in there with him, you know. So, yeah.
Warrior, not a worrier. That's what he says often. We don't worry,
That's right.
we're warriors. So it's
That's
just
right.
amazing that you've taught your little brother so much, but now he's teaching you so much about life, and it just through some of the hardest things that any of you have to experience, he's excelling in the most devastating environment that anyone can go through. So, you know, it is very motivating. I can see how you would be proud of him, and things that we go through, sometimes we have to just check ourselves, like, you know, let's make this man proud, because if he can, you know, rise through the ashes, then we definitely can as well. The Phoenix, that's what you...
The Phoenix.
Okay,
Rising
yep.
Phoenix. So he gave me that name.
Yes.
Yep, he gave me that as my nickname.
Yes. You all have such a unique relationship with him, each one of you. I'm speaking about the sisters, but your relationship with him is like so close because you guys are so close in age.
Yes.
And I know that you were helping your mother raising the children, but so was he. And I think a fun fact is you taught him how to do hair. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. I needed some help.
Yeah. So he knows how to braid.
I said I'm not gonna do this by myself. You're gonna help me out. It's like, all right, just don't tell nobody. I'm like, all right. Yep. Actually, it was when I started learning. It was through Cabbage Patch Dolls, and so I'm like, you know, I got to learn to do these girls' heads. Especially Tiffany, she had a lot of hair. So I'm like, yeah, you know, I had to make sure I had some assistance. We was a team, no matter what it took. We were teammates, for sure. Like, everything I did, he did. Jumping, you know, I'm jumping fences for no reason. Jumping fences with them, like him and his friends. Back in the day, I got the scars to prove it. To do wrestling moves on each other. I said WWF is crazy. Oh, but yeah. We had a lot of time. A lot of
good times.
Oh yeah. There was actually one time, fun fact. We weren't supposed to do this, so if there's any children listening, don't do what I'm about to tell you.
Is your daughter still here?
But no, we were children, and we had missed the bus one day, and we just decided we wasn't gonna stay home all day. We was gonna go to school, so we just decided to go on an adventure and walk to school by ourselves. We was living in Mattapan and walked all the way to Rosendale to school. And it took us hours. We were making pit stops along the way. Like, we just had no time limit on the world. There was a couple of children that we saw along the way. They came chilling with us, walking with us to school. I don't know what they were doing. It was crazy. We walked to school. By the time we got to school, we were in trouble. They called it truancy. That's the first time I ever heard that word, truancy. Yeah.
Is this middle school or elementary school in Mattapan?
Elementary.
Wow.
We went to the base in Rosendale. We was living in Mattapan. We went to the bus route. That's the way we walked to school.
At least you went to school.
Exactly. That's what I said. They wasn't hearing it.
Now, I hear that you've always been a scholar. You've always been about your grades. You've always been very on point when it comes to school, and he admires you for that. but he wasn't always the same, even though it may be hard to believe now. But tell me about
he was
in school. Like, how did you try to motivate him to go to school?
Well, it started, for me, when I seen that, the family, did you see me fine? Do I need to turn on the light? Did you see me okay?
It's a little dark.
Yeah, hold on one second.
I see lady said there's no sound. Can anyone else hear us? Yeah, that's better, Domanika.
Okay. Oh, that's Auntie. I don't know. I think my sound's all the way up. You were asked.
Okay, LeVar said he can hear us.
Okay. Yeah, so I was once to always keep my head in the books. I learned early that if we were going to get out of the living situation that we were in, I'd have to elevate on my education. And
I'm sorry. Fu, we're on live with Domanika. She's telling us about you not really, school not being your thing, but I don't know if you want to jump in or just listen real quick.
No, I just want to say this to her while I got the chance. Me and my sister grew up, now that I think about it, under circumstances that weren't desirable for young adults to grow up in, but through that experience, we was given a fortitude, to not only navigate the hood, but navigate America. And she was really like my first mother, my first parent, my first educator. She was the smartest person I knew at that time. I just didn't have the pride to manifest it, during those periods of my adolescence, man. But my sister was such a blessing in my own development and my growth, and all the things I was afraid to speak to my own mother about, I voiced to my sister, who was only a year older physically, but light years mentally ahead. And she was a genius, a prodigy. She was playing the flute, like, before she was even 10 years old. Like, I love my sister. Matter of fact, was the clarinet. And I used to try to mimic her in my own unique way. It just didn't fit my false narrative of myself. But I appreciate her for her endurance, her strength, her fortitude, and her grace. Because when I was at my lowest periods in my life, she was always the first lifeline I had. And I just want to extend, my appreciation to her publicly in that regard. I love you, sis, and you've always been an asset to my elevation and magnified the relevancy behind my growth. So with that said, peace, sis.
Peace, twin. Thank you. Thank you. I love you dearly. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate you. You got me don't make me cry.
No, I won't.
I appreciate you. Yes, so I was just sharing about the education part of, about like me keeping my head in the book, and and just like whatever I learned, like I just tried to share it with you all. And what really got me into like wanting to study and work so hard in education is so that we could get out of the economic situation that we were in. That was my main goal, was to try to get out and, be successful. And I knew that's just the only way I knew was through education. So that's what, I guess he must have watched me. I did, got one couple of awards in middle school, nothing like that. I didn't have an honor roll or anything. I just was always just in tune with school. And even when I was in college, I'd even brought him to college to see what college life was like, And it was a blessing because, like, I didn't even realize what I was doing. I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and I didn't even realize I was being watched.
Let me just read these comments real quick. Fu, this is for you. Your niece is sending love. She says, I love you, Uncle. LeVar said, miss you so much, bro. Ru'Allah said, free to God. Mackie said, what's up? LeVar's been sending you love all throughout. He said, tell Fu Black loves him. Charles, you're getting a lot of love here. And Dominika's doing a beautiful job just telling us all about, you know, the trials and tribulations of trying to grow up in the hood, moving around a lot, and just holding down the household with all your sisters. You've been an instrumental part of helping her with that. And yeah, it's beautiful to hear from you, Dominika.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. And I just appreciate all the support that he's getting. I'm just so glad to see it. It's a blessing. Keep it coming. But yeah, it's definitely a good thing. We just come so far. You know, it's been a long road.
Fu-Quan, what memory of your sister stands out to you the most? I know you express your love for her, but is there something that stands out the most of you guys growing up?
Me and Dominika was a great kid, but I knew how to get her mischievous side. So when we used to celebrate Christmas, me and Dominika used to open up all the stuff in advance, and that was my partner. We looked at my mother's room, or I looked out at my mother's room while we went through all the presents in advance. But that was like my mainstay every Christmas. That was our plan. But when we lived in Mattapan on Hiawatha Road, me and my sister actually walked to school, and the base was in Roslindale, and it's where it's where like Archdale Project is at. And me and my sister missed the bus, so instead of getting a beating for my mother for missing the bus, we walked all the way to Roslindale from Mattapan. This is off of Blue Hill. And we walked all the way to school with like two other kids, and we went the exact bus route that took us, that we used to go to school with. And by the time we got to the school, like that was like an adventure, like us walking all the way to school, American Legion Highway, going towards Old Sears and McDonald's, and we took the exact bus route to school. And when we got there, all the teachers was erratic and concerned, and you know, when we got home, my mother, she didn't beat us. She was just happy that we wasn't like harmed in any capacity. But me walking with my sister and another two people that we was with, it seemed like eternity by the time we got to school. But that's when we really solidified our bond, because we thought we was getting away with something, but it actually exposed us to so much. And I think at that time, the base, we was probably in 4th or 5th grade, and it made me really reflect on how we were so young during those periods. We wasn't like 16, 17, 18. We was like 6, 7 years old, 8, 9 years old, like wandering the city, like taking MBTA buses together. Like, and I think about children now not having that exploratory gene, but for her and me, she always represented my exploratory gene. Not staying confined to a certain region, but just exploring. And that day really epitomized my exploration. And me and her walking to school was probably one of the most magnified moments just in our childhood. And just when we thought we was getting away with something, it wasn't us getting away with anything. Everybody was upset. Everyone was worried. Everyone was concerned. We didn't know what the big deal was. But now that I think about it now as an adult, that was crazy. But we did all that because we didn't want to get a beating. And my sister know what type of stuff my mother had.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to play no games with those belts. I'd rather take the risk. But that's one of the main memories I had during our upbringing.
Yeah, I had shared that with them, that story with them.
And it's funny that you have recollected the same one that I did.
We're connected. That just shows how connected you guys are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've been through a lot of those shenanigans.
Yes. In teenage years, I know you brought him around and exposed him to a lot of different parts of the city, Chez Vu's being one of them. Do you remember Chez Vu's for the first time?
Yeah, I remember trying to get him out there to skate. He wasn't much of a skater. He was there for the girls.
Yep.
Well, you was plugged to all the girls because you was friends with all the girls.
Yeah, they used to think he was cute. I'm like, no, he's not. He's just my brother. But yeah, he was very popular with my friends. You know, in a good way.
Yeah, I couldn't wait till they slept over. I'm like, get him to stay tonight.
No,
like, why?
I used to try to cut that out. Oh yeah, I used to try to cock block a lot. Me, yeah, I'm like, he's just my brother. He ain't cute. But he actually turned out to be handsome. So you got that, twin.
Yes, please. I appreciate you for that.
I'm glad you don't bite the fingernails and stuff no more. I used to get on him about his nails.
Yeah.
The nails are real clean. Yep. He keeps himself very well groomed, and we give that to you, Domanika.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear it.
How many showers have you taken a day, Fu-Quan?
Oh, that's right. Summers, at least 4 or 5. But my sister always used to tell me, and I used to come home from school and just go right outside. She was like, no, take a shower. Girls don't like it. She could tell me whatever. Like, yeah, take a shower. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm going outside. But when she said girls don't like that, I said, wait, hold on. All right. That was like the
it worked.
She could say whatever to me. She was like, that's not cute. Girls don't like that. I'm like, wait, hold on. You said what again? All right, boom. I'm like, yeah, but I did that every day.
Oh, you still bite them?
Oh. Girls don't like that, and that's not cute. And I was like, from 9 years old to 12, like, I listened to everything she was saying. What's not cute? What's good?
Oh, you got this.
Don't wear your pants like that. I'm telling you, they don't like that. So that's where I got all of that from my sister warning me that girls don't like that.
I had to tell him what I knew. I couldn't have him looking all crazy being my brother since chicks was looking at him and everything. At least he should look decent. Right? Nah, I remember, like, we used to have battles with our clothes.
Yeah.
Me, really, because back in them day, like, TLC was my group, right? And they used to have baggy clothes. So I used to borrow his Ewins, his sneakers. I used to borrow his Ewins. I used to wear some of his baggy jeans and his, what else is my favorite of his? His lumberjack shirts. Because that was the style back then. So I used to go at him for his clothes, especially the Ewins. I was always the one who borrowed his Ewins. I'll never forget him. It was black and white. And the baggy jeans that I used to borrow from him had like a Joker stamp on it. A Joker, you remember, right? Right, Twin?
Yeah, I remember. And the difficulty is I always went to, like, Dearborn, and you went to, like, prep schools or other schools. We was never in the same grade. But when I was in 9th grade and you went to Tech, and they're separate schools, but they're next to each other, Madison and Tech. So then I'm sneaking over to go to your school, but then I see you wear. I'm like, yo, I didn't say nothing. But it was like, yo, you say something. But then I remember you catching me with your shirt, like, yo, you got my. I'm like, man. But it was only because I was to the same school at Tech and Madison that we just like, no one said this. We doing our own thing with them.
We used to cross over from Tech to go through Madison to go to, like, shop.
Yep.
And he was over in Tech for no reason. He wasn't supposed to be over there. I used to catch him in the hallway, and I'm like, hi.
and going past Madison, seeing him in Madison in the hallway. Like, what are you doing in the hallway? Aren't you supposed to be in class? And he's like, so that we get home, and he's like, oh, don't tell nobody that I'm, that you know. Just act like you don't know me when we're in school. And I'm like, okay, act like I don't know you. Then the next day, hey, what's up? Why are you in the hallway? Used to get on his nerves.
What vocation did you study at Madison, Fu-Quan?
Auto body.
And what was
always fixing cars, dealing with cars. That was our passion. So definitely with an auto body.
Yeah. Do you remember him fixing dirt bikes in the house, Domanika?
We used to actually, from when we was little, we used to take stuff apart and put it together.
Yep.
Remember, like, we were very, like, experimental when it came to stuff like that. How did things work and things, in that nature. We actually, at one time when we were little, my mother came home and she came home to cable and didn't know how we figured it out.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, so cable.
Yeah.
Y'all so
opened
smart.
a few walls though, made a hole in a few walls, but once I got that wire, that was all my.
It was a wrap.
The whole house had cable.
Yeah.
Well, y'all are real smart. Y'all got into a lot of things, but you always looked out for each other. Still looking out for each other. And it's beautiful to see the relationship between a brother and a sister just continue to grow. You've always been your brother's keeper. Speaking of clothes, your father shared in his interview that during Fu-Quan's trial, you had to like put on his pants to go into the courtroom.
Oh, what it was is there was a visit. I think we had a visit. Me and my father were going to go. And I had got in, and I was trying to get in, and they were like, no, they wasn't having my pants. They said I couldn't get in with the pants I had on. So my father, he had said, you know what, you go ahead and I'll stay in the car. So we had to go to the car, swap pants. I had something extra that he could put on, I think a pair of shorts or something. But it was cold. So I had to wear my father's pants, and I was like, I'm going in there no matter what. I'm making sure I see my brother. None of their rules are not going to stop me. Because it was something like petty. I don't even remember what it was, But they said, nope, you're not. And I had waited some hours, and they thought they were going to derail me from seeing him. I'm like, no, that's not going to go down. So, yep, I wore my father's pants. I had no shame. No belt. I think I pulled them up. Rolled them up around my waist so that they said, see my brother. Yeah. They used to do a lot, I used to wear a wrap on my head. And they used to always pull me into church. I didn't like them touching my dreads, so I just stopped wearing my wraps around my head after a while. But I'll keep going, Yeah.
Yeah, the things that the family members go through just to visit loved ones, it takes a lot just traveling up there and then making sure you have the right clothes. And if you don't, having to go back and forth. So the fact that you were resilient in seeing your brother, it just, continues to show your love for him. And I know that he appreciates all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fu, your aunt is here. She said, free my nephew. He's innocent. Which aunt is this, Domanika?
This is Auntie Louise.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Auntie Louise is on with us, and she's saying, that you're innocent. Can't wait for you to get home.
Yeah. I appreciate the love and the support.
Yeah. I know that Fu-Quan, you shared a story of living out in California with your uncle for a little bit. How was it for you, Domanika, to have your brother away from you for so long? You guys grew up like this.
Well, I had first went out to Cali, and then I came back to Boston, then he went. So we both went at two separate times. Mm. So the first time I was separated, it wasn't just from him.
It wasn't just from him, it was from the family. So it felt weird because I was so used to being there taking care of them, you know. I know we got a little bit of time with him. Does he want to say anything before?
Fu?
I just wanted to say again that I love you, sis, and I'm proud of who you are. I'm proud of who you became, and there never would have been a me if there wasn't a you. So always know that.
Oh. Okay, I love you, brother. Oh, I appreciate you.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
We also have about 5 minutes before the live is cut off. Domanika, I appreciate you for coming on here and building with us. And it's always nice when Fu-Quan's able to call in and you guys are able to share that time together and show people a different side of him. You know, he's very serious because he's still fighting for his life. So people don't get to see the fun, you know, the other sides of him that aren't so serious, but he takes his brotherhood very seriously, and he loves you all so much. And I know you especially, you guys have been through a lot. And before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to share as far as what we can continue to do to support him, or just how you feel about your brother today and what his contribution will be when he returns home, because he will be coming home?
And that's just such a relief and a load off of all of us. Like, the family finally feels like there's a light at the end of this tunnel. Like, we haven't been fighting all this time for nothing, you know. And you know, we just ask that you continue to support us, and we thanks for all the support. I'm just in awe, and I just hope that you continue to support us. And I can't wait for him to get home, and you know, and just gonna continue to fight, you know, and do what's right for not just. It seems like, because I noticed that you post, you know, other individuals that this is happening to, and this is just like, you know, it's really an epidemic, and you know, it just. You would never think that it's going to happen to you and yours, and look, it can happen to you and yours, because it happened to us, you know. So just be vigilant and just love your family and keep them close, and you know.
You're absolutely right.
Blessed to be his. I'm just blessed to be his sister.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't think something like this can happen to their families, being wrongfully convicted. It seems like something that happens in another state or happens to other people. But, you know, your family experienced that, and you're still going through it today. The service is choppy a little bit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't think that something like this can happen to their families or happen close by, but it happened here in Boston. It happened to your family, your brother, your only, you know, on your mother's side, your only brother was taken from you, and you guys are still fighting for his freedom and still keeping him alive and being able to raise your nieces and nephews with him so that they know who he is. They deserve to know who their uncle is. So, you know, we're going to keep fighting. You know, when the time comes for us to go to court, we want to see everybody in the courtroom showing support. And I just appreciate everybody that paved the way before the Free Fu-Quan movement had a name, because if it wasn't for people like, you know, the family members and Mackie and, you know, Sir Paul that just joined, being able to just to share his story and keep him alive out here on the news channels with the legislators. You know, we have a lot of work that's been put in, and we're just showing that. That's all that the Free Fu-Quan is. We're just showing his digital resume, but in order to bring him home, the legal work has to be done, and he's diligently working on his case. But when the time comes, we definitely would love all of your support to show up.
Oh, no doubt. I'm there. I am there.
Oh, we know you are. Thank you so much, Domanika.
Yes. You're welcome. And, you know, just the family's keeping the faith, and we're strong, and, you know, we're blessed. And I just want to thank again for everyone's love and support.
Thank you. Have a good evening. We'll be posting this live so everyone can check it out later on. And until then, just continue to have a good evening, and we'll talk again soon. We'll build soon.
We'll build soon. Sounds good.
Peace.
Peace. Love you.